Another wake session, another strife and another life, and they blame it on depression. Another wife is the wrong or right, and they claim me under pressure. Another tripe and a suicide, we apply the same methods. It's like we'll never learn the lesson. We try to lie to make it better. Then everybody scrambling now, trying to figure out what to stress her. Why didn't he or she reach out where the world wasn't helping? Why couldn't he find just a peace of mind, let the world get the best of him? They call it mental health in this. It's so weird when it comes to depression and suicide. These self-help sort of gurus try to apply the same method with a one-size-fits-all, and it never works. What the hell is this? Another fool shot up a school, and we know the camp was sick. And all these dudes want to blame the tool, that's stupid as it gets. Another crew on the teletube, blaming gun ownership. You can miss me with that miss, cause I ain't never shot a man. And the only time I would lay him down here aggressing on my fam. And you like to make it much harder for me to protect all my land. Cry crocodile tears so you can just feel good at grandstand. Bro, you stupid in a trance. No matter how much you get to sobbing on TV, every single gun law is an infringement. Period. Look, I ain't just saying this just to say this. The state is a criminal, crooked organization. So you look like a buffoon thinking that you can save this. Looking to Big Daddy government every time dismay hits. These fools done killed 250 million men and women and children, all due to their ill sins over the last century. So why would I fiddle with them? This crap is not meant for me. Let that power get reeled in. They act like I can't govern myself, so they keep running for help, begging the state to monitor wealth, and you'll get thrown in a cell. Deviate, they throw you in jail. Maybe you the one that's crazy with that bad mental health. So I think you really should back up. Man can't govern himself, but can rule over everyone else. That don't even add up. And every time I'm bringing this up to you, you get mad, huh? But that's the reason I remain fearless and pick this pad up. This ain't a gimmick, this ain't a joke. State and agents of it is really out there ruining people's lives, and that's the source of a lot of people's problems.
What's up, everybody? So we got another school event that happened around noon today, so I'm not going to do a whole lot of talking. I want to jump into this CBS News thing. I got it to the point where they're going to break down what actually happened. From what I've been reading, one teacher, 14 kids, dead at the hands of another fucking psycho, another savage. So let's get into it. First, let me say thoughts and prayers with the family members and the victims, man. I hope you find peace. You know, this is a sad day, you know, taking children. You know what I mean? It's been reported that the gunman has been had his lights turned out. I'm not sure if he turned his own lights out or they turned them out for him, but I'm happy he not here. Let's get into it.
3:30. All of this began unfolding at noon. If you are just joining us, we do want to bring you up to date on what is going on and what we know right now. At just shortly after noon, we received word of an active shooter at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde. We have learned that 2 people have been killed. 13 children were taken to Uvalde Memorial Hospital. A woman and a child were airlifted here to San Antonio University Health. The suspect has been taken into custody, and we are waiting right now.
So right now I just got it rewinded because I just found out about this as soon as I got out my truck. When I got home, I got a text message saying that another school event happened. Immediately went online, found this. So she kind of giving us the gist right now. It's been updated, but I just wanted to kind of go back so we can hear what was going on, and then we'll go, real time.
Now for a news conference at the De Leon Civic Center, where The remaining children, 600 children in that elementary school, were taken and where they were picked up by their parents.
Yes, and we're waiting to hear from Superintendent Dr. Hal Harrell from Uvalde Consolidated School District, expected to speak, as well as law enforcement agencies and the city there on site as well, all lending their support to the school district and to the police department. DPS, we have learned, has taken over this investigation. FBI was also there on the scene, as well as a number of local law enforcement agencies lending a hand as well. Again, this is just one of two elementary schools there in Uvalde. Robb Elementary is where all of this situation unfolded. Like Deborah said, we have learned 2 people have lost their lives in this active shooter situation. 13 children were injured. They were sent to Uvalde Memorial Hospital. We do have one woman, a 66-year-old, in critical condition at University Health in San Antonio, as well as a child whose condition we are not certain about. But there are also 2 others in Uvalde pending transfer, but we do not know where they will be sent just yet.
And we are waiting for a news conference. The superintendent of Uvalde School District, Dr. Hal Harrell, is going to be informing us there at the Civic Center. That is where KENS 5's Victoria De Leon is right now. Victoria?
Looks like we're having...
Got off the phone. It's a San Antonio family, Lisa DeVour. I've actually done stories with them. They called me while I was on my way here, and she told me, Henry, she was like, I'm on my way to Uvalde. She was like, you won't believe, I have 10 to 15 family members that go to Uvalde schools, and we have a few family members who go to Robb Elementary. And I said, oh my gosh, Lisa, how are you doing? She said, we don't know a lot. We just want to get here. Our family's from here. Obviously, we just want to get here. She just arrived. She told me she's at the Civic Center, but she just informed me that a 10-year-old who attended Robb Elementary has passed away. She said she died here at Memorial Hospital. She says the mother, which is her niece, is with her right now. We couldn't talk that much because, as you can understand, they have a lot going on. She was also trying to find one of their other loved ones who goes to the elementary school. They don't know if he got somewhat transported in the bus and then got lost, or if he is at the Civic Center, so they're trying to figure that out at this moment. But again, sad news. This family telling me that a 10-year-old at Robb Elementary was taken here, has passed away from her injuries, and is with her mother. I do not know more than that.
So we getting close to real time, everybody.
How many times she was shot, any of that. As you can imagine, it's tough taking these phone calls.
So I'm going to take you over to this article that I got from the New York Post. Let me see. 14 students, teacher dead in Robb Elementary School shooting in Texas. Let's take a look at this here.
From Texas Governor Greg Abbott. He spoke momentarily. Let's hear it.
The shooter was Salvador Romas, an 18-year-old male who resided in Uvalde. It's believed that he abandoned his vehicle and entered into the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde with a handgun, and he may have also had a rifle, but that is not yet confirmed according to my most recent report. He shot and killed horrifically, incomprehensibly, 14 students and killed a teacher. Mr. Romas, the shooter, he himself is deceased. And is believed that responding officers killed him.
So let's now listen to some sound from Texas Governor Greg Abbott. He spoke momentarily. Let's hear it.
The shooter was...
All right. Of course, why not? Why would it start acting up? All right, so we got an 18-year-old gunman opened fire at a Texas elementary school Tuesday, killing 14 kids and 1 teacher before he was shot dead by police. Governor Abbott said The suspected shooter, identified as Salvador Ramos, allegedly shot his grandmother before heading to Robb Elementary School in Uvalde with a possible handgun and rifle around noon local time, according to Abbott and ABC News. It is believed that he abandoned his vehicle and entered Robb Elementary School in Uvalde with a handgun and also had a rifle, but that's not yet confirmed. Abbott told reporters that an unrelated press conference in Abilene, adding the shooter attended Uvalde High School. Uvalde High School. He shot and killed horrifically, incomprehensibly, 14 students and teacher. Mr. Ramos, the shooter, he himself is deceased. It is believed that responding officers killed him. Man, so reading that, it harkens back and it gives me vibes of what happened in that Sandy area. I guess I'll say it like that. It's interesting where you got an 18-year-old who shot and killed his grandmother before he went to a elementary school to inflict harm and death on unsuspecting grade schoolers. It sounds similar to the whole Sandy Hook stuff, and I'm just come out and say it. It sounds similar to the Sandy Hook stuff, man. I mean, it's almost, the story sounds eerily similar to it. I don't know if we have a copycat on our hands with this. That's what it sounds like. All I know is that 14 babies got taken, man. And one teacher. This is a sad day. I don't know what the hell is going on right now. I really don't. I don't know what the hell is going on right now. I mean, so we had the Brooklyn subway, right? We just had the Buffalo situation. We had the Orange County situation. I think we had a Milwaukee situation last week too. And now this. Sound like Treadstone working overtime, man. Let's go see what we got. Let's see what we got in the chat. We got Steph Colonel in the building. What's going on, Steph? We got Il Cryptmatic. Salute. We got Fetty VWAP. We got Hotep Jesus in the building. What's going on? What's going on, Hotep? We got Ahmad Wilson. What'd you say, Ahmad? Yeah, you know it's coming, man. You know it's coming. So Biden is to give a Biden is going to give a I guess a speech on this today. Supposedly having a press conference later about this situation. I'm assuming going to do a prime time around 8 o'clock or something like that. We'll see. But this is truly sad, man. We got Jay Powell in the building. What's the deal? Super Carlo, what's up? Demonat, what's the deal? Yeah, man, it's crazy, bro. Old boys Latino story should go about it. I don't know about this one, Carlo. I don't know about this one. Like I said, they always say never let a good crisis go to waste, man. They're gonna run with this one, bro. Dia Blaze, what's up, cuz? Salute. Heather Coran, this is why schools shouldn't be gun free zones. That's true. Let the teachers carry if they want. They make them soft targets, and it's sad. You think we will protect kids more than politicians? That's facts. Because we gotta protect our babies, man. We gotta protect our babies. You know what I mean? To the point where, I'm ready to spend money on soft body armor for my kids' book bags. If y'all don't know, you can go to like Safe Life Defense or AR 500, and you can buy soft body armor pads that'll fit right in your kid's backpack, and they can use that shit as a shield to protect themselves. It's sad that we come to this, but we got to protect our babies. See, the thing is, right here in Baltimore City, if you go to Baltimore City public schools, majority of the schools got metal detectors. Majority of the schools got school resource officers there strapped up, ready to rock and roll. You know, that's why you don't really hear about shit like this. If you do hear about a shooting in Baltimore, it's outside the school somewhere else. You never hear about it in the school for the most part. You know, especially in the city. Maybe here and there in the county, somebody beefing with somebody, but in the city, they got clear book bags. You know what I mean? They don't play around here. You know, we got to protect our babies, man. Heather Coran, she right. You know what I mean? Unearthed knowledge. What's the deal? Treadstone working overtime. Yes. Prayers for those for the families, man. Super Carlos said LA got rid of school police. More wonderful woke policies. Jeez. It's crazy, man. Poppin' Eye Shelly, what's going on? Poppin' Eye Shelly, yeah. It's just crazy, man. Anyway, I'm happy you guys could join me. What's going on? Anime Nika, what's the deal? Happy you guys could join me. Mariah Jada. First it was reported he was in custody. Now they're saying he's dead. I'm not sure which it is. So yeah, so in the beginning they were saying that he was apparently he was taken into custody. Now they're reporting that he's dead. You know, I don't know if they took him behind the alley or what, you know, or they shot it out with him. I don't know. You know, but he needed his lights turned out. We don't need to know what made him tick. We don't need to know why he did this. We don't need to know if he mentally ill or not. See, that's another argument I hate when people do. They're like, oh, well, he had a mental illness. No, fuck that. Anybody that can do some shit like this clearly got a screw loose. Clearly they got a screw loose. See, people always want to attribute some shit to mental illness or his daddy or his mommy wasn't here or he was a troubled teen. No, fuck that. That's some evil shit. That's some evil shit that you got to have hate in your heart and you got to be evil to pull some shit off like that with no remorse. That's evil, period. Full stop. And you got to eradicate evil. You got to eradicate evil. Instead, you get these, you know, these talking heads talking about, well, what made him do this? And I'm sure we'll see some bullshit manifesto pop up out of nowhere with an explanation, or we'll find out his fate. He on some Facebook group or some shit like that. Fuck that. Where I stand, you pull some shit off like this, I don't give a fuck if you gave yourself up. You catch one to the back of the head. Simple as that. You know what I mean? Santa Claus. What's up? Hello from Amsterdam. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Hey, yo, my all my mods, yo, you see them bots coming, yo. Take care of that for me, please. I appreciate you. DeMars Burton, Michigan school shooting after graduation. Is that right? Jesus. You know what I mean? You already know, anime, yo, he can't say shit about this, boy. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? This shit is crazy. We got Suge White in the building. What's the deal? Welcome back, man. My man Jimmy Doss is in the building. Compound Treadstone with the impending financial crisis and crime rises when economies are pathetic. Many are on the edge and it's taking a toll. Hey. Ill Cryptmatic said, bro, I just looked up bulletproof backpacks. Told my wife, what a sad day I'm looking. Yeah, man. Fuck that. You gotta do what you gotta do, bro. Hotep, what's up, Brody? You know, just one officer isn't enough to protect the school. No, it's not. So when I was in high school, we had three. We had three officers when I was in high school. One stayed in his car outside, one was in the office, and one patrolled the hallways. That's just what it was. You know what I mean? Why not? You know, You got to have some type of gun on site. You got to. You want to have, okay, so you don't want the teachers to carry? You don't want the administration to carry? Which I got like a plan for that, right? I'll run that by y'all in a little bit. Then you need to have some school resource officers that's there, that's ready to rock and roll. Not only with they 40 caliber handguns, right? They need some ARs in the trunk. They need some firepower in that trunk. Now, me personally, I feel like if you train correctly, you can beat an AR. If you train right and you got good shot placement, you can beat someone with an AR. However, it's always a great fucking idea to have one on you. You know what I mean? Some type of rifle. I don't give a fuck if it's a Chris Vector. I don't care if it's a Strabog. I don't care if you got a fucking Scorpion. Something where you can lay down suppressive fire with it on target accurately. And we all know any rifle, it don't have to be an AR-15. It's more accurate, right? More accurate. Check this out. So check it. This is my Strabog, right? Grand Power. It's a 9mm pistol caliber carbine, right? Check this out. Okay. Nice and compact. 30 round capacity. Red dot. All right. Red dot on it. This thing does work. Okay? You know? This thing does work. Or shit. Okay, your police department don't got the resources, right? For rifles. I got you on that. Check this out. Your police department don't got resources, right? We can't afford to buy ARs. We can't afford to buy pistol caliber carbines. Okay, cool. You get you one of these, okay? They call them the Micro Roni or the MCK, whatever you want to call it. It's a chassis for your Glock. Every Glock fits in here. You put your Glock in here, and now you got a rifle that you can go to work with. And I know they work because a buddy of mine works in a police department here in Maryland where the police are issued this in their car. The ones that don't have ARs, they got this. So now essentially you got a 40 caliber rifle in your hand that you can lay down fire accurately and back somebody the fuck up. I got 2 of these. I keep one in my truck. You know, they don't care about our kids, man. They don't care about our children. You know, they only care about them when something crazy happened. They only care about our kids when shit like this happened. Because the cries of a mother, the screams of the mother, the blood of the children get them reelected. They're going to use this as a political talking point to go after the Second Amendment. They're going to use this as a political talking point to get them back in office. That's what they're going to do. They're going to use this as a political talking point to take more freedoms away from you. Make you more of a soft target than we already are. See, the thing is, the solution ain't more gun control. The solution is more good guys, good law-abiding citizens who want to stand up to evil being strapped. Right? So check it, like I was saying. And I had this conversation with a cousin of mine a while back, right? This is when it first became a talking point where they wanted to get teachers, right? They wanted to get teachers. They were talking about like arming teachers, right? So one of my cousins is a teacher, and she was like, no, like, I don't trust no teacher doing that. Like, what happened if the kid upset the teacher and then the teacher? I'm like, damn. Like, we would vet them first, right? You know what I mean? Because some teachers aren't just teachers. Some teachers are veterans. You know what I mean? Some teachers been in the military. Some teachers shoot 3-gun. You know, some teachers are avid shooters. Gun collectors, right? So this is what I was suggesting. The teachers that are willing to take on that responsibility of carrying at school, right? Whether they got a concealed carry license or not, and they trying to get one, you put them through a 12-week course, just like you would do with the police officers. You put them through a 12-week course. They forfeit their summer that year, right? They forfeit their summer. You pay them. They go to the police academy and they learn pistol 101, rifle 101. They learn fighting pistol, fighting rifle, right? Active shooter drills. They learn that 12 weeks. I think that's a lot of time. It only took me 16 hours to get my concealed carry here in Maryland. They only require me 16 hours for me to carry a gun in public here in Maryland, which I think is fucking ridiculous because I shouldn't have to do that. But they require only 16 hours for me to carry a gun here. So you put your teachers through, you want them to be fucking trained. You want them to make 12 weeks. 12 weeks. Ain't that how long they got for summer? Some shit like that. Maybe I'm wrong. Whatever the fucking, that's what they got. That's what they got to go through. You know what I mean? Veterans coming home, hire them as school resource officers. Veterans coming home, they need a job, hire them as school resource officers. You know? Like, why not? They need jobs. They've been to war. They've been shot at. Most of them. A lot of them trying to transition into law enforcement when they come home. The ones that do, make them school resource officers. How hard is that? But see, those are good solutions, right? You know, it's too much like right. But see, if they do that, then you curve all this school violence. You curve all of these shootings, right? You curve all this shit. It's just sad, man. It's fucking sad. Suge White, he was running the EOTech. Is that right, yo? I need to jump up ahead. He was running the EOTech. I can't afford a fucking EOTech. I mean, I can, but I don't want to pay $600, $700 for a red dot. Where the fuck you get that type cash from? You right, yo. Gotta put that type shit on layaway. Ahmad Wilson, this is crazy. Where kids have bulletproof bags in school, why not? Put armed guards with decent weapons for these situations. The best offense is a good defense. That's facts. Bruce G, I've been thinking the same thing. Get my son bulletproof backpack, protect front and back. Facts, yo. They even got, you know, if you want to go the cheap route, you got the soft pads where you can put a plate back there, right? They make them. Or they do make Kevlar book bags where it protects front and back. They have that. They make those. Handy Bob, guarantee there were tons of warning signs posting on social media. You already know. We'll hear about that shit in the coming days. We'll hear about it in the coming days. You know what I mean? Everybody arguing on Twitter looking for someone else to blame, creating more hate. Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what they're doing. I'm sure before we found out who the fuck he was, they were already saying the white boy did it. I guarantee it. I fucking guarantee it. Is this the gun he had? Look at this shit, yo. Look at this shit. That's a fucking EOTech. Hold on 1 second, guys. Sorry about that, guys. My kid. My son. Ho. Does that say? That don't say what I think it say. Give me 1 second. We gotta zoom in on that. And my gun people, y'all know what I'm looking for. See if I can zoom in on this fucking picture. Can I zoom in? Bro, I know that there's no way that say Daniel Defense on it. There's no way that gun say Daniel Defense. I can't clean that up, but there's no way that gun say Daniel Defense on it. I can't get a good look at that gun. I can't get a good look at that name. Hold on, let's see this. Let me see this. Hold on. Let me see something. What is this? I can't make that out either. I know that gun don't say Daniel Defense on it. Y'all know how expensive that gun is? If that's what that says, do y'all understand how expensive this fucking gun is? Hey, look at Daniel Defense stock. Do y'all understand how expensive this gun is if that's a Daniel Defense gun? So not only do you got a $600 EOTech, you got a $2,300 rifle. HJ crazy. He said, you know it's getting serious when Candace starts reaching into cash. Oh man, Shook White, the feds never let a tragedy go to waste. That's true. That's true. You know what I mean? But this shit is crazy, yo. 2 AR-15s, yo. And one of them look like it say Daniel Defense on it. I don't know if that's the case. Like I said, that's an expensive fucking gun. Where you get that from? Who got you that? I had to trade in like 3 or 4 of my guns to afford a Daniel Defense, yo. Yo, Jay Powell, right? He in for like 3K, yo. He in for like 3K, bro. Shook White said, yeah, that's a Daniel Defense. Nigga, straight up. Straight up. Bruce G said, yes, because I want one. Yo. Yeah, Papa Knight. Yo, that gun, it's an expensive gun, yo. That shit's fucking expensive. I don't got nothing that expensive in my fucking safe. Only thing I probably got close to being that expensive is my Chris Vector. And that's still probably like another $1,000 off of that gun. Shit crazy, bro. Shit crazy. Let's see what else they say. So this is the kid right here. Salvador Ramos. Salvador Ramos. So all the people arguing that it was a white boy and all this other shit, there you go. See, this is the thing though. It's an election year. They don't give a shit who did the shooting. It could have been a black kid with an AR today. They running with it. They running with it. They running with it. And don't forget what I said to you guys. I said it on HJ's channel. I said it here. There's a big fucking case going on right now. A big fucking court case going on right now in New York. New York Pistol and Rifle Association versus Bruin. They're supposed to rule on that shit next month. Now, if you know like I know, every time some major gun legislation is on the House floor or the Senate floor or in the Supreme Court, shit like this happen. Now listen, because you got some people that'll be like, oh, that shit ain't happen. This shit ain't real. It's fake. No. That's not what false flags mean. Shit is 100% real. People died. Kids died. There's no mistaking that. You know what I mean? There's no mistaking that. But for people to get their point across, to get their agenda out there, they ain't beyond hurt nobody. It's called collateral damage. We know the powers that be ain't beyond lying to us. And like I said before, look at the Gulf of Tonkin. The Lusitania. The Gulf of Tonkin didn't even happen. That shit was a straight up lie, and that's verifiable. Babies in an incubator. A lie. We were told that kids were getting killed in incubators over in, I think it was Iran. Was that where it was? Back in the day? Back in the 80s? The girl came before Congress and said that shit. That shit was a fucking lie. What are the odds that we had 5 shootings happen in the last 2 weeks? I think it was. This shit is fucking sad, man. But don't get upset at the people who feel like this shit is done by design. Because in the past, shit like this has been done by design. Woody Muller, appreciate you, yo. Back when Iraq invaded Kuwait, that's what it was. That's exactly what it was. I appreciate you guys. That's right, Mexico. Criminals due to violence. Gun companies are not the issue. You're right. Now, this is another thing, because this shit is virtue signaling, and I always said that shit. They want to go after the manufacturers, right? They want to go after the manufacturers. But see, the United States government don't make their guns. The United States government don't make their own guns. They got to use the manufacturers. Right now, what it was in the past has been Glock. It's been Colt. Right now it's SIG. Beretta was one. The government ain't making their own shit. They're using these manufacturers they so-called are going to go after. It's just more virtue signaling bullshit. They'll use this shit as a talking point. And then once they get in office, you won't hear nothing else. And then in another 2 years, when we got the presidential election coming up, we'll see more shit happen. You know? Shook White said a good AK is too expensive. I mean, you can find a couple out here that ain't too bad. You know? Depending on where you are, shit like that. You probably get like a Draco for like $6. You know what I mean? You probably get like a decent clone. I know they got a couple of them. I know they got some mutant ones, right? Where it's an AR platform, but it shoots 7.62 by 39. You know, that's personally what I would want to do, because I would want to stay with a weapon system that I know, that I'm familiar with. So if it was me and I wanted to shoot 7.62 by 3.9, I would go with a mutant, an AR that shoots 7.62 by 3.9. You know, that's just me. Jimmy Dawes says government loves dead children, whether it's shootings or abortion, it garners them power. That's facts. Steph Colonel says go after pew manufacturers, then go all in on Raytheon. Damn. Steph Colonel with the fire. But like I was saying, man, it's fucking sad. You know what I mean? But like I said, we'll hear about a fucking manifesto and all this other shit, right? We're gonna hear about a manifesto and everything, right? I'm sure we are.
Publix.
You know. I'm just trying to see if anything else going on. Let's do a little bit more.
Agencies that are working to sort of iron out the details on the scene right now. So the numbers that we have been told at CBS News, similar to what the governor just announced at that press conference, but certainly, as is the case in many of these tragic events, many of these mass shootings, that number of deceased could grow. We could learn more. Of course, we know that there are several who right now have been rushed to the hospital that remain with their condition unknown, and so would not, be surprised to see that number of deceased tick up. Unfortunately, of course, we'll be working to get the latest numbers for our viewers here, the most accurate information. But at this point, I'm being told the same as the governor.
All right. Nicole, thank you.
Thank you.
CBS News security and law enforcement analyst James Gagliano joins me now. Galliano, excuse me, James. I always forget the Italian spelling. It throws me on the teleprompter. But I want to ask you, James, because you were on the phone there. We just heard from Nicole that the suspect may have also killed his grandmother prior to the shooting at Robb Elementary. What might that tell us about the alleged shooter?
Well, I'll tell you this, just another senseless tragedy. And I think, Lana, the thing that I was immediately taken back, I was listening live to that report, was, American law enforcement has been looking at these school shootings for a long time. And the first one that we really looked to on record as being described as a mass shooting was Charles Whitman at the University of Texas Clock Tower back in 1966.
Now, you know what's going to happen, right? They're going to describe a motive. It's going to be a fucking they're going to find a manifesto. They're going to find some fucking Facebook group. They're going to find some reason to say this kid was mentally ill. They're going to create a whole fucking world for this kid. Right? That's what's happening. They're going to want to, we need to get into the mind of this guy and all. Fuck that. Like I said earlier, evil people do evil shit, period, full stop. Anybody that can pull some shit off like this, they're evil, period. Anybody that could do some shit like this clearly got a screw loose. Clearly. We don't need to sit here and, was he mentally ill? Oh, this kid had bipolar disorder and he constantly, wrote in his journal that he wanted to kill his mom. And we'll find out that this kid was probably on somebody's fucking watch list. We'll find out that this kid was on somebody's fucking list. We'll find out that this kid the police was called on this motherfucker who knows how many fucking times. We'll find this shit out. I'm sure there's a record of this kid, the grandmother calling, or some neighbor or some fucking kid, or the school probably calling on this kid, or something. We'll find that shit out. We'll find out that yet again, the powers that be that want all of this gun control and all of this shit dropped the ball. Could have saved this. You know what the fuck they do in Baltimore City back when I was in school with troubled fucking kids? They take them out to school and put them in an alternative school.
James, you mentioned the 1960s.
Well, you got guards and shit. Metal detectors and fucking clear book bags and You watched because you a troubled kid. You a kid that ain't up, that is up to no fucking good.
To shoot many innocent victims at Robb Elementary.
I'm guaranteed because this kid is Spanish and all this other shit. He a POC, what they like to fucking say. They probably sat there and coddled him and babied him, and we wanted to give him chance after chance after chance after chance until you do some shit like this.
Troubled young man who had spent some time in Vietnam. He was a veteran of the military, and probably. I mean, I'm certainly not a psychiatrist, and I don't even believe an autopsy was done, but probably had some type of mental instability,
Here we go.
mental condition that caused him to do it. There seems to be a thread through all this. Look, evil exists, and evil exists in people who are sane.
Thank you.
But the common thread in so many of these shootings, so many of these mass shootings, are somebody who is disenfranchised, somebody that
What I just say?
disaffected,
What did I just say they were going to say?
and they usually go someplace to find some type of validation.
What did I just say that they said they was going to say? What I say?
The World Wide Web, whether that's joining some group, and I'm not suggesting that we have any information yet on what the affiliation or connections this individual had. But truly tragic.
I just said this shit. What I tell you they were going to do?
More details come forward. It'll start to paint a bigger picture. Very difficult to tell right now because the police have to deal with everything from, could this have been workplace violence? Could this have been, a love triangle? Could this have been
a love triangle? What a fucking 5-year-old? What an 8-year-old?
So many different things that you've got to work through on that, and I think, Lana, that the police are.
I'm sure this kid was a piece of shit.
That as quickly as possible.
Yeah,
He been a piece of shit.
At the very beginning parts of,
But because he was Spanish or whatever,
we don't even have.
they wanted to give him some bail and some bail and some bail. They wanted to baby him. They probably put him in fucking in-school suspension for saying some fucked up shit to a teacher or whatever. Or when the police was called by the grandmother, they fucking did nothing.
How do they move?
They talked to the kid, patted him on the back. It's going to be all right, son. Then this kid go do some shit like this. Now, me personally, seeing that fucking Daniel defense rifle, now my fucking tinfoil koofies on tight.
Patrol were immediately involved. Local police was involved. How does all of that come together?
So
I ain't a broke nigga,
the way that we work this
but
now,
I can't even go get a fucking $2,500 Daniel defense rifle.
go it alone. You mentioned before, CBP is obviously involved in this. I'm sure the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, the Texas.
If that's what that was, because that shit like a Daniel defense rifle to me.
Local police officers. This is going.
I wouldn't put a fucking EOTech on a Diamondback,
Make no mistake about this. Since the
but I'm pretty sure that wasn't a Diamondback.
in instances like this, you always presume terrorism and you work backwards from that until you can disprove it. I'm not suggesting we have any information yet that this is a terrorist attack, but you presume that. So the FBI will take the lead until something makes that dispositive. So they'll work that thread first, and then they'll find out where that takes it. And what you have to do is you have to follow the evidence. And what kind of evidence? Well, there's human intelligence, which means that they're going to spread out, they're going to fan out across the country if it takes that, to talk to locate people that had any connection with this individual, family members, friends, associates, colleagues, former employers or employees.
Oh, what's that, Crypto Hotep?
Like that. Then the second piece of this is
they got one of the
intelligence, and that means that
they got one of the elementary school teachers liking his previous IG post per a tweet on Twitter and a recorded video of when he got in the school. Are you serious?
You make a phone call. You drive through a bridge.
That's true, Jay.
And your Easy Pass clicks. A license plate reader picks you up. There's so much digital exhaust. So those two things have to be done simultaneously. But like I said,
Ahmad Wilson says just evil. Late-term abortions in this
is to make
situation
sure that this is
should have took
that
place
there is
at
no
7
broader
years.
conspiracy
Jesus
and that there are
Christ,
no
man.
other accomplices, potential accomplices
Peace and
out
blessings,
there
Pop.
that need to be rounded up.
James, as we're covering this, I've got about 6 monitors in front of me, and in one of those monitors, I saw a woman crying. One of the other things that's happening right now, families are being notified. Can you tell us about that process?
That is the absolute worst part of the job in law enforcement.
That's what I was about to say, man. Could you imagine as a parent? Could you imagine as a parent, right? You at work or you at the bus stop waiting for your kid or whatever, and you start getting calls that come to the hospital. Your son's been shot. Your daughter's been shot. They're in surgery.
I can't even fathom. I cannot even grasp that. Just the difficulty of what those parents are.
Could you imagine that?
Hoping beyond hope
I
that
can't.
their child is alive, and then sitting next to somebody else that maybe their child was one of the ones that was killed in this. So
that shit is heartbreaking, man. That's why you gotta go over. You gotta go over like fucking scenarios with your kids. As scary as this shit is, as much as you don't want to put that shit on your kid, you gotta go over scenarios with your kid. You got to. I suggest this, right? Now, don't kill me, everybody. Goddamn it! It was a pretty good movie. So, Ben Shapiro made a movie called Run High Fight, right? Daily Wire made a movie called Run High Fight. It's a pretty good fucking movie. You should let your kids watch that shit and discuss different scenarios and different game plans should some shit like this happen at their school. Again, yeah, it's a scary thing. It's a scary thought. You don't want to put that shit in the back of your kid's mind. Hey, one day some kid could walk up in your school and start shooting the motherfucker up. But this is life, and this is what it is, man. You can put as much gun control on the books as you want to. If somebody got murder on their mind, they gonna fucking kill. Period. Think about this, right? Let's look at the previous one that just happened at the grocery store, right? He took the gun that is demonized in the news, right? The dreaded AR-15. He took a hunting rifle, the one that they said that the Second Amendment is only for hunting, right? And he took a shotgun. What fucking Nickel Slick say? If you want to protect yourself, get a shotgun, right? He took all three. You know why? He wanted to make a point that no matter what kind of gun it is, it kills.
We also believe that his grandmother was killed before the shooter went on to that elementary school. Let's check in now with our affiliates.
You want to go to southtexasblood.org. Again, that's southtexasblood.org, and you can find the center that's closest to you, and that way you can go to donate. Now, this is
you gotta go over these. You gotta go over this type of shit with your kids, y'all. You gotta go over this type of shit with your kids. You have to. It's fucking mandatory. It's fucking mandatory. It's fucking mandatory. You got to. You know. What up, Cassius Cam in the building? Liberal pseudo types ain't willing to act different. Lori Dawn, welcome. Yeah. She says, I'm very sorry for everyone's losses. This is devastating. It definitely is. Definitely is. But see, Mexico, yeah, Asian countries have no guns. However, they always had no guns. We're a country built on violence. We're a country that became a fucking superpower after we fought our way away from a fucking superpower. We're built on guns. We left, America left, whatever the fuck, the forefathers left fucking Great Britain. They came over here. They started making a life for themselves. Britain wanted to tax them. They said, I ain't paying you shit. Britain was like, oh yeah? They came over this bitch, tried to take over, and we fought our way out of it. And ever since then, we had a Second Amendment. That Second Amendment says that the right to keep and bear arms should not be infringed. Right? It doesn't mean that, it only belongs to militias, which means the army. No, fuck that. Right for the people to keep and bear arms should not be infringed. The people have the right to form the militias. Is what it is here. We have 330 million guns, probably more than that. Because after the whole pandemonium started, the fucking the rate of gun owners went through the fucking roof. Went through the roof. We probably got more than that now. Let's just say conservative, we got over 400 million guns in this country. That's more people. It's more than how many people we got in America. You ain't getting all that. The forefathers wrote the Second Amendment because they knew that even our government could become corrupt and tyrannical, because we just got finished fighting ourselves away from a corrupt and tyrannical government. Right? You had this war, right? You know why white people call it rednecks? Because there was a war, right? Well, you had West Virginia, right? People in the coal mines, they working. They wasn't paying them a real wage. They was giving them some bullshit money that they could only pay for on the fucking thing or whatever, in the coal mines in the little town, right? Let's call them coal bucks. I don't fucking know what they was called. They ain't want that, so they went on strike. Government got involved. Those people had red fucking do-rags or handkerchiefs around their necks. So that's why they called them the rednecks. They took up arms against the government and they won. They fucking won. Fuck it, Bundy Ranch. They took over a fucking state park. All because the government took his cows. They took up arms against the government. They held off the fucking FBI and some SWAT and some more shit. And they won. They won. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. You ever wonder why, like a city like Baltimore City, where we got 330 murders consistently every year, in a city that only got 300,000 people in it, but we got some of the strictest gun laws in the United States? Why are we so violent? Why we still got so many murders? You know why? Because no matter how many fucking laws they put on the books, one, they don't enforce the laws that they already got on the books. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. Two, criminals don't give a fuck about gun control. They're not gonna go turn their guns in when the government go, oh, you need to turn in these guns. They go, oh man, they got us. I guess we gotta go down to the courthouse. Nah, they keeping that shit. I don't give a fuck about no rules. Let's make them criminals. But see, the government knows that. The government understands that. But see, that's not their agenda. Their agenda ain't to protect us. Their agenda ain't to make this a gun-free America, a violent. Their agenda is to take total control. You know why? Because if you kill the Second Amendment, you might as well rip up the rest of the Constitution. You kill the Second Amendment, the rest of the Constitution falls. You don't have a First Amendment. You don't have a Fourth Amendment without the Second Amendment. They know that. So they trying to get that shit out the paint. Now, whether this is some Treadstone shit or not, best believe they're going to use this shit to push their agenda. Understand that. 14 babies lost their lives, man. 14 babies lost their lives to some crazy motherfucker. That I'm happy he gone. Matter of fact, I don't even want to know how they got him. I don't even want them to say how he died. Because for all I know is they took that motherfucker into custody. They drove him a few blocks and took him into the woods and fucking turned his lights out.
So we are here with them. We are here for you to keep you updated. As soon as I hear more or gain any more new insight from anyone.
And if they did that, you know what? Salute to you. Motherfucker out Buffalo, he gave himself up.
Will you share the story of the grandmother you spoke to where her son-in-law went over to...
He did that fucked up shit. Guess what they should have did? Body cams off. He ain't make it. I got no remorse for people like this. I got no remorse for people like this.
And she told me her son JJ attends Robb Elementary, and so we were able to chat as she was outside her home. She lives
shit is sad, man.
To the elementary, so she was hearing at least the action from the law enforcement side as you had all the choppers flying over. Obviously, as Vanessa had mentioned, we have Border Patrol and so many agencies here.
What's this, Handy Bob? 86 killed in a franchise. In franchise with a dump truck. Dozens killed in Wisconsin with the SUV. They're always a way. It's always a way. If somebody want to do something, they're going to figure that shit out. The fucking brick in front of your house might be the weapon that day. The motherfuckers at the what was the shit called? The Boston Marathon. Was it fucking pressure cookers? Is that what it was? Pressure cookers? Remember in New York, the dude with the fucking U-Haul truck? Hell, motherfucker was running through England stabbing niggas.
To me, she's like, it's not in a million years, Henry, would I ever think that we would be seeing this unfolding in our small town, a town who loves, a town who's united, and especially on a day where these kids were getting certificates. I mean,
you want a good case of a good guy with a gun taking out a bad guy with a gun? Look at Stephen Williford in Southern Springs in Texas. Dude went to a church, shot some people who's going to another church. Stephen Williford got word from his daughter that something was happening at the church. He heard some shooting. He ran to his safe. He got his AR. He got a handful of bullets. He ran to that church, loaded his magazine up, and he got down and dirty with that motherfucker. Dude had body armor on. But guess what? He had presence of mind and he had training. He saw that he ain't had no armor on the sides. And he took that red dot and he put some well-placed rounds between that vest. Backed his ass up. He jumped in his truck, tried to run. He put some rounds through that fucking windshield. Another dude at the fucking light. He jumped in that guy's car. He just shot up the church. They chased him for 15 miles until that dude drifted off into the fucking embankment. He then got out of his truck. He said he had one round left. He put that gun in that car. He yelled at him, told him, get out that car, get out that car. Police pulled up. He was dead in the truck. He stopped this man. Although it was tragic what happened to those people in that one church, he stopped them from going to another church. They demonized that man in the news. Someone wouldn't even interview him. They only interviewed the dude that who chased the guy down with Stephen Williford in the truck. They only interviewed him. They didn't want to interview Stephen Williford, the guy who actually took him out, the guy who actually engaged him and got into a gunfight with him, the guy who actually stopped him. Because you can't do that. That's not, it goes against the narrative. Good guy with a gun, bad guy with a gun. Not only that, he was NRA certified. Go figure, right? They don't want that. You know? There was another church, I believe it was in Texas. I did a whole fucking video on this on my YouTube channel. Go check it out. Guy had a shotgun in the church. He let off one fucking shot, and then one of the armed security guards at the church, headshot, gone. Ended the fight, 20 seconds. Not only that, the rest of the congregation that was in that motherfucker, everybody was strapped. They all drew their shit on him. He ain't stand a chance. Understand this. This shit seems too perfect. Look at what happened in the past couple of weeks. Now look at where we at. This shit oddly seems like the other shooting from 2012, 2013? Sandy, you know what I'm talking about. Damn near the same. It's an election year. Every time we got an election year, this shit happens. There's gun legislation on the floor. Every time this shit happens. This shit is sad, man. Pop-up Hotep, you think they're going to flip taxes, y'all? Yeah, all this during midterms. Hey. Koofy on tight with that one. Andy Boss said 1927 dude blew up a school in Michigan, still the worst school massacre in U.S. history almost 100 years ago. Evil is evil, that's facts. My man Robert Banks in the building. That happened because the Air Force didn't update records. That's right. The Air Force didn't update the records to the Knicks background. They didn't update the records. This is the Sutherland Springs shooting we're talking about. And the guy was still able to purchase a gun. He got it legally. Jabari Judah, the shooter, was supposedly of Mexican descent, so both sides will grift. One on immigration and the other on gun control. Holy, you get a round of applause, and you get a Don DeMarco for that one, bro. Robert Banks, like I just said, this stuff always seems to happen the most whenever there are pro-gun legislation. 2017 was the CCW reciprocity in Vegas happened. That's my man right there. That's right. That's right. Yep, I remember that. They were voting on, that shit was going to the Senate. It was going to the Senate on a Wednesday. And that Sunday, Vegas happened. That Sunday, Vegas happened. It was going to be national reciprocity with CCW. And Vegas happened that Sunday. They were going to vote on that shit on the Senate floor on Wednesday. That's facts. That's right, Suge White. Pistol Brace decision comes out next month. Yep. No, that's the Pistol Brace executive order comes out. Handy Boss, ain't no school shootings in Israel. Schools there are better secured and armed better than a lot of U.S. police departments. Shit is crazy, man.
And we are expected to hear from President Biden, who is going to address the nation, who is going to speak to all Americans.
Now, question is, I don't know when he's supposed to talk, right? I'm sure it'll come up soon.
Yes, you know, Uvalde is known, of course, as the hometown of Governor Dolph Briscoe, Matthew McConaughey, and now, unfortunately, it's going.
We got Miss Pinky in the building. What's going on, Miss Pinky? Appreciate you joining us. Hey, if you're new, hit that like, hit the subscribe button. It'll let you know when I got new content coming out. Share the stream. Share this stream. Let people know we live. YouTube been shadow banning the hell out of me. They've been whooping my ass. Help me beat that algorithm, people. I really appreciate you.
An 18-year-old Uvalde resident who came with a handgun, possibly another rifle, another weapon of some kind. The governor saying that has yet to be confirmed, but possibly another weapon.
And we do know a 66-year-old woman is in critical.
Jabari says, Handy ain't lying. You need passwords and photo ID to go to some synagogues along with 3 references. Damn. Hey. You got to do what you got to do, right?
Wounded in the leg, shot in the leg. And then we know 13 students were taken to the hospital there in Uvalde, and a 10-year-old girl is in critical condition here at University Health.
We've seen an outpouring of law enforcement support ever since the shooting started around 11:30, around noon, again at Robb Elementary.
Words are inadequate to describe the
Here we go. Let's see what this is.
At this cold-blooded massacre, that Americans' hearts are broken. We know on the other side of the aisle and
all
in
right,
the other
Nicole, sorry to interrupt you. We need to go now to Washington. We understand Vice President Harris plans to address the shooting, the tragedy in Uvalde at Robb Elementary School. Let's go ahead and listen to what she has to say.
Please sit, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. What an incredible room. And Judy, thank you for that introduction and for your leadership on so many levels. Tonight's a rough night. We planned for a great celebration, but I'm sure most of you have heard the tragic news about what has happened in Texas. So I had prepared comments about tonight, which I will speak, but I just first want to begin by saying a few words about the tragedy that occurred today in Uvalde, Texas. As many of you know, the reports are that It was a mass shooting at an elementary school. And the preliminary reports are that 14 children have been killed. And the details are still coming in, and of course the president and I are monitoring the situation closely. So while we don't know all the details yet, we do know that there are parents who have lost children, families that have lost children, and their loved ones, of course, and many others who may have been injured. So I would normally say in a moment like this, we would all say naturally that our hearts break, but our hearts keep getting broken. You know, I think there's so many.
Is she trying to make herself cry?
You know what I'm talking about. Every time a
18?
tragedy like this happens,
Jesus, man.
our hearts break. And our broken hearts are nothing compared to the broken hearts of those families. And yet it keeps happening. So I think we all know and have said many times with each other, enough is enough.
Here we go.
Enough is enough. As a nation, we have to have the courage to take action and understand the nexus between what makes for reasonable and sensible public policy to ensure something like this never happens again. So the president will speak more about this later.
Kofi on tight, Papanaya.
But for now, I will just say,
hey, could be causing a chemical imbalance.
Uvalde, please know that this is a room full of leaders who grieve with you. And we are praying for you, and we stand with you. And it is difficult at a time like this to think about much else, but I do look around this room, and I know who is here, and I know this is a room full of American leaders who know and have the courage to take a stand. And so let us tonight, as we do every time we all get together, recommit ourselves to having the courage to take action. And so that does bring me to the leaders who are in this room and the leaders of AIPACs. And again, I want to thank Chairwoman Judy Chu for that kind introduction. As a former member of KPAC, I had the opportunity to see her leadership firsthand, and she is truly a national leader who lifts up the people of our country. And of course, I'm honored tonight to be with Congresswoman Marilyn Strickland, AIPAC's board chair Susan Gin Davis, and all of the federal, state, and local elected officials who are here, and so many friends and former colleagues.
We have been listening to Vice President Harris address the Texas shooting at the Asian Pacific American Institute for Congressional Studies. I want to bring back in now.
All right. That was uneventful, right? I mean, we already knew that's coming. They coming for all the guns, people. They coming for all the guns, people. Just be prepared. They're coming for it. They want to make you defenseless. They want to make you bigger targets for some odd reason. And I'm going to say that they know what the fuck. I want to say they know what the fuck they're doing. They know what they're doing. It says for security, but that's not what it's for. They want you dependent on the government. They want you defenseless, and they want you dependent on the government. Period. Full stop. Also, like I said, the Second Amendment falls, the rest of the Constitution falls. It's easy for them to inflict any rules or laws that they want to inflict on you. And guess what the fuck you can't do? Fight back. You can't fight back. What you gonna fight back with? Huh? Fucking airsoft guns? Mexico. I mean, I kind of agree with they need to address the bullying in schools, but we also need to teach our kids to fucking man the fuck up. Sack up and punch the bully in the motherfucking mouth. That's what we need to do. That's what I was taught. Kid bully me, fight that. Fight him. Fight him. If you lose, guess what? That bully got your respect. One fight in school. Dude tried to bully me. I almost knocked his goddamn teeth out. He thought he was fucking with a slouch. I just was quiet. I ain't like fighting. I'm not a violent person. He kept fucking with me. I sent that nigga to the nurse for the rest of the day. Guess what? Ain't had no fucking problems ever after that. Even through high school. Nobody want no smoke. We gotta teach our kids to stand up for themselves. And not in the fucking wrong way with guns. We need to teach them how to fight. Teach your kids how to fight. How to fucking have thick skin when somebody say something to them. That's what we need to do. Do we need to stop bullying? Yeah, of course we need to stop bullying. But guess what? It's always gonna be fucking bullies. Teach your kids to cope with that shit. Teach your kids to fight back. Because guess what? Even when they get out of school, they're going to have bullies at work. They're going to have bosses that they feel like is aggressing them. Just people in public. The dude gave me the finger today out the window of a car. Part of me wanted to fucking roll up on him and snatch him out that shit. But guess what? Let's let that shit roll off my back. Let's let that shit ruin my day. We got to teach our kids, yo. We got to teach our kids to be strong. Now, you did say something early in Mexico. You said this kid looked like an emo kid. You right, he did. They the fucking emotionally disturbed children. Who parents don't fucking pay them no mind. And they fucking, I remember when I was in school, every time they greeted each other, they fucking gave each other a hug.
Who were echoing that same sentiment, that they think that there are common sense items.
Is bullying a problem? Yeah, it's a problem. But guess what? Teach your kids how to fuck a bully up.
You've been covering this for so long. Is there any political will for
smack that nigga in the head with a textbook? That's how you end bullying.
For the gun show loophole being closed, or any of these other things that
that's how you end bullying.
There could be some.
I know people don't want their kids to be violent and all that other shit. I don't want my kid fighting. Fuck that.
He could get 10 Republicans together.
You gotta teach your kids some resolve and some fight, because guess what? When they get out of school, it's bullies in life.
Any of those particular things have any hope?
You can't legislate your way out of shit like that. You can't legislate your way out of violence. Violence is always going to be around. Violence is always going to be around. Period. You gotta teach your kids how to deal with life. What fucking Rocky say? It's not how many times you get knocked down. It's how many times you get knocked down and you get back up. That's how winning's done. Remember that shit in Rocky? That was one of the greatest fucking speeches I ever heard in my life. That shit made me want to go out and run a mile. That shit made me want to run through a fucking wall when he said that shit in that movie. That's facts too there, Miss Pinky. There is no fucking gun show loophole. Whoever says a gun show loophole is a fucking moron. I go to plenty of gun shows. And guess what? Every time I go buy some shit, guess what I got to do? License, HQL, please. Okay, thank you. Now I need you to fill out this fucking, was it 7744R or was it just a 77R? 77R? Need you to fill out this form, please. They run that background check on the spot. If it's a handgun, then they got to run the background check for the feds for the NICS form. Then they got to give me a fucking state police background check for Maryland for the handgun. And I still got to wait 8 days to get my fucking gun. Every time I went to the gun show to buy some shit, that's what I had to do. Gun show in PA, they can't even give it to me. I can buy it in PA, but guess what they got to do? They got to transfer that motherfucker to a FFL here in Maryland, where I then pick that shit up. And then I go through all that background shit. There's such things as a gun show loophole. Now, you do got people outside the gun shows doing private sales. You got that shit all the time. Long guns here in Maryland, you can do that as long as you got a bill of sale. It's not illegal. But there is no gun show loophole. There's no gun show you're going to go to where you can buy a gun from the fucking gun store or the vendor that you could walk out with without a fucking NICS background check, period. The NICS background check is the national background check. The problem is we got to get the fucking federal government to update the shit. Like my man Banks said, the Sutherland Springs shooter, the reason he was able to get his AR is because the fucking Navy didn't put his dishonorable discharge into the Knicks database after he beat his wife. The government falls short on this shit. They don't enforce the laws on the books. Like here in Maryland. Maryland's supposed to get a mandatory 5 for having a fucking illegal gun here in Maryland. You're supposed to get mandatory 5 off the top. But guess what? Fucking capping for these people. You got the lawyers, you got judges trying to give motherfuckers second and third chances. And then when a dude fucking do the ultimate thing and kill somebody, just like we saw in fucking Sacramento, the dude with the switch on the Glock at the fucking club, it was some gang shit happening, some nigga shit happening outside the club. He had just got out of jail. They let him out. They let him out on some bullshit. And then not less than a month later, he done killed some people in Sacramento. Look at his rap sheet. That motherfucker long as a bitch. That's the problem. Enforce the laws you got on the books first before you start implementing more laws banning shit. James Page, not true in Nevada. What's up with Nevada? You saying that you ain't got to do no background check or no gun show? I feel like I know it's constitutional carry in Nevada. Oh, I don't know about Nevada if constitutional carry, but I know Arizona is. You know what? I'm going to be in Nevada. I'm going to fucking find out. I'll be in Vegas. I'm going to be in Vegas. What? We going to Vegas for Hotep weekend, what, the 13th of August? I'm going to walk my ass right into a gun store, see if I can fucking purchase a gun without doing a background check. And if they let me take that shit with a fucking Maryland license. I'm going to see if I guarantee I can't do it. But I digress. I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
It's similar to any other crime. It's just the
scope
and the magnitude are different.
This can a Hotep getting upset over fake news. All 3 religions are fake. There are no lies the government. There are no limit of lies the government to tell us. Yeah, of course there's no limit of lies that the government to tell us. And no, I ain't getting upset. I'm passionate, bro. Know the difference. And if I was upset, I'll fucking time you out of my fucking stream.
How did we miss this? How did he get in?
But I'm all for the First Amendment.
There's so many questions that need to be answered, and that's what law enforcement.
Robert Banks, if buying from an FFL, they got to do a background check, even at a gun show. Federal law. That's facts. That's what I've been saying.
Any kind of manifesto like we saw in Brooklyn, is there just you're trying to answer all these questions.
Nina's Cherry. Live in a state where gun laws are tighter. Yeah. What state you in, Nina? Elon Harry Reed would never let that fly. Suge White. Even with constitutional carry, you still have a background check to purchase. Now, private sales is different. That's true. Private sales are different. Even here in Maryland, private sales are different. But you cannot make that private sale inside the gun show. They won't allow it. Now, if you do the shit in the parking lot, then that's just what it is. You know what I mean? Now, with handguns, you can't sell a handgun to a person without going through the state police background check situation. And if somebody does probably sell a handgun to somebody, that shit's illegal. It's already illegal. Long guns is different. Concealed handguns, nah, you can't do it. That shit's illegal. So if somebody outside of a gun show selling a handgun, they already breaking the fucking law. So what's that tell you? Criminals don't give a fuck about laws. It only affects the law-abiding citizens.
So I would just say, when the time's right, that information will be
Thank you, 4473R. I don't know why I got that shit mixed up. All FFLs required a 4473R regardless of sales a few years ago. Pretty dumb. That's true. Central Florida gun shows banned private sales a few years ago. Okay.
It's hard to say. I certainly see that from where I sit.
Hey, I said it before, William B. Trump fucked up their timeline, yo. 18 kids, man. Yeah, Papa Hotep just told me. That's fucking sad. But yeah, William B. Like I said Trump fucked their timeline up, and now they on breakneck speed trying to get back on track. You're gonna see a lot of fucked up shit happen. It's just my opinion. Why didn't any of the arbitrary rifle specifications stop this shooting or any other? You know why. And we'll find out that this guy purchased these guns legally, which if he purchased these guns legally, he went through the background checks he needed to go through.
Breaking up a little bit, but I got your question. I don't think we know the answer to that right now, but certainly social media plays.
DMW, what's up, bro?
People are live streaming.
Yeah, they making up for that lost ground, Pop Hotep. Exactly. They definitely got to rush 8 years into fort, Andy. You already know. That's what they up to, man. You can look at it. What they wanted to be fossil fuel free by 2025. Is that when they said they wanted to do that shit? We in 2022. Remember that? You know? We got fucking we got food shortages. We got fucking cow shortages. And what AOC say she wanted? What AOC say she wanted? Get rid of cows because the farts and the methane gas and all that other bullshit. Now all of a sudden we got these food shortages. Don't get me started on the pandemonium. Don't get me started on the remix. That shit was just the beginning. Me and Jay Paulon did a stream on that last night. If you ain't seen it, go back, check that out later. Thank you, Pop-Up Hotep. I knew that shit was a Daniel defense. That ain't a cheap gun. And if you got one of them Pop-Up Hotep, I'm jealous. But like I said, we did a stream on the pandemonium and the new Donkey Kong. The Donkey Kong pox. The remix. The Cove base was just a fucking that was just the beginning. They wanted to see how far they could take that shit. How much people going to comply with whatever the fuck they say. They're going to try some more shit. They're going to see if it worked. And I got a feeling that we're going to be doing this mail-in bullshit again. Steph Colonel says the T-virus is coming. That hologram site, yeah, that's a EOTech, and I know the last time I priced out an EOTech, I was looking at like 600. I'm just saying. That's why I use HoloSun. I'm a HoloSun motherfucker. I can afford a HoloSun. EOTech, I ain't willing to part with $600 for no EOTech. I'll pay for a $250 HoloSun though. You know what I mean? Yeah, I like Berettas. That's one gun I don't got is a Beretta. I do want me a Beretta. Give me a Beretta 92. I might grab me one. All right, so hold up. Okay, we heard this part.
The Robb Elementary School.
So for people, let me jump back.
Comes from it.
So people that ain't heard it, I'm gonna let it play out.
Sometimes it may inspire others that see it to do similar acts. It's hard to say.
How do you counter that, Doug?
It's a really good question, and I wish I had a good answer for you, but I don't, unfortunately.
Wait, you got it for $1,200, Pop? How? Must be nice.
Trying not to get into the politics of this, but there's so much controversy surrounding this issue, and instead of fighting each other about what...
And killed a teacher.
It was just before noon.
And killed...
Carter Evans has...
There you go.
He shot and killed horrifically, incomprehensibly, 14 students and killed a teacher.
It was just before noon when police say the gunman walked into Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, and started shooting.
The shooter was Salvador Romas, an 18-year-old male who resided in Uvalde. It's believed that he abandoned his vehicle and entered into the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde with a handgun, and he may have also had a rifle, but that is not yet confirmed.
Governor Greg Abbott says he was a senior at a nearby high school and he shot his grandmother before entering the elementary school. Within minutes, heavily armed police rushed to the scene and confronted the shooter.
Mr. Romas, the shooter, he himself is deceased.
13 children were transported to the hospital for treatment. Witnesses say frantic parents rushed to the school. All of the schools in the area were locked down because of the gunshots.
This school has children that are in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade.
CBS News has also learned that multiple Customs and Border Patrol agents responded to the school shooting, and one agent was shot in the head. He's at a local hospital receiving medical treatment and remains in stable condition.
We do want to keep all their families in their prayers. I hope you do as well. And we also want to respect the privacy of the family.
This shooting comes a little over a week after 10 people were killed in a mass shooting at a Buffalo supermarket. Police in Uvalde say the motive is unknown at this time. The investigation is underway.
The suspect did act alone during this heinous crime.
That was Carter Evans reporting for us. The Gun Violence Archive says that the tragedy at Uvalde Elementary School was the 212th mass shooting in the U.S. so far this year. Scott McFarland has more.
Even before the horrors of Uvalde, Texas, and Buffalo just 10 days ago, the arrows were pointing in an alarming direction. 61 active shooter incidents in 2021. That's twice as many as in 2017, and it's even a spike from just the year before. The shooting incidents took place in 30 states last year, 6 in California, and 5 each in Georgia and Texas.
Let me give you some context to what they talking about, right? Because they like to do that shit. A lot of these school shootings were like accidental discharges, shit like that. They wasn't actual full-on school shootings where it was, you know, kids came in there or people came in there to take out people. You know, I think one, like, a kid took one from their parents and they had it in the book bag and it went off. I think one was a fucking, they was doing some kind of, presentation. The police officer was doing some kind of presentation in the school and he had one in the chamber and the shit went off into the wall or some shit like that. Like a lot of these school shootings, quote unquote, weren't actual school shootings, you know, but we'll keep it moving.
The total number shot, 243, including 103 killed.
Our heart is breaking for these families.
I disagree with that
Every
number.
ounce of love and thoughts and prayers we can send, we are sending. But I'm
Yo, they love acting. Yo, this motherfucker think he Joel Osteen over here.
beg, to literally get down on my hands and knees and beg my colleagues. Find a path forward here.
You see the political theater?
Work with us to find a way to pass laws that make this less likely.
When it comes to shootings in schools, the group Every Town for Gun Safety, which formed after the Sandy Hook tragedy
Which
in
is funded
2012,
by,
reports in 2022,
Georgie
there were at
boy.
least 77 overall incidents of gunfire on school grounds. And before today, 14 deaths in or near schools this year, a total that more than doubled this afternoon.
We are going to speak with Representative Tony Gonzalez in just a moment. But before that, we want to turn back into our affiliate KENS 5 and check in on their latest coverage on the ground.
So you'll start to hear more of that, right? You're going to start to hear more of this anti-gun rhetoric. You're going to start to hear more of, you know, what you just heard just now. You're going to start hearing more and more of that. You know, it's just what it is. You know, par for the course. But understand this, people. No matter what you hear, you can't let them take your right to self-preservation away. You can't let them take away your right to bear arms. You understand? You know, this guy went into the school and he did what he did. He had time to do that. You know what I mean? Because who was going to contest him? Who was going to challenge him? You know? Let's just say, for example, what if, you know, there was a teacher in there that was strapped and was able to take his attention off them children and put his attention on that teacher, firing back at his ass. You know, some people always say, well, no handgun is no match for an AR-15. I beg to differ.
Thank you, Sharon. We're here where
All you gotta do is take the attention off of the victims. That's all you gotta do. You get some good cover. You get some good a good barrier. You know what I mean? Conceal good, and you send shots his way. Guess what? They backing the fuck up. Now they gotta focus on you. Now you're a threat to them. And it gives people enough. It gives kids enough time to, people to get enough time to get these kids out of the school. Because what he gonna do now? He gotta fight you. He gotta fight you. Now imagine if we had 3 more teachers armed, right? You understand? Now let's just say like the fucking principal and the gym teacher and the fucking science teacher, they strap and they all converge on this motherfucker. Now he got to defend his life from them. Now those kids got a chance to get the fuck out.
As well, you can go to southtexasblood.org to sign up. And again, in Uvalde, there is going to be a emergency.
What's the downside in that, people?
From 9 to 1 a.m. And we'll have more.
What's the downside in that? I don't want teachers armed. Why not?
Thank you, Troy, and thank you to that kind donor.
Why not?
Who's, donating blood at this moment. So,
Because if it was me and it was my kids in that school and the teacher, I would want that teacher strapped.
So this happened in Uvalde, which is 80 miles west of San Antonio. It happened at Robb Elementary School. Around 12:17, shots fired. It was an active shooter, and all campuses, including the elementary school, went on lockdown. We do know that Uvalde Memorial Hospital received some patients, about 13 students initially, and 2 who
Let's jump up real time.
deceased when they received them. University Hospital.
Activity Center. If you feel the need to help, there's one way you can do it.
So now, like Nina and Pop said, at least 18 children, 1 teacher dead in shooting. That is fucking sad. That is fucking sad. That is fucking sad.
They do need more blood. We have 4 people being treated here in San Antonio, a 66-year-old woman and a 10-year-old girl at University Health, both in critical condition. 2 other adults are being treated at BAMC, and we do not know their condition.
Yes. But we do know that, again, that death toll has been updated. 18 students, 3 adults, 21 total.
Jesus Christ, 21 people dead.
It just takes your breath away.
It does. And those 18 children between the 2nd grade and 4th grade, we're talking about 7.
So close to summertime, these kids are probably ready to get out of school, man. They.
Terrible. Columbine, we know that.
Here we go.
There was 15 deaths in Columbine.
I can't remember the exact number. Of course, that. Okay, we've just gotten word. Vanessa Croy has an update for us in Uvalde from DPS. Vanessa?
Deborah, we're here with Lieutenant Chris Olivares with DPS. He's going to tell us a little bit more about what he's learned that happened out here at Robb Elementary today. And Lieutenant Olivares, we've just learned that 18 students have been killed.
Right, Vanessa. So first I want to acknowledge the brave men and women of law enforcement that showed up to the scene, that actually were involved in the scene, that actually made entry into this school and saved more lives. That, of course, we lost 18. But I want to praise those brave men and women of law enforcement. Also, offer our condolences on behalf of Texas Department of Public Safety to the families, to the victims, and the entire Uvalde community. So what we do know now that the suspect was involved in a family disturbance earlier on the day with his grandmother, in which he shot his grandmother. From that point on, what we do know is that local law enforcement received a call of a crash and a man with a gun nearby where the school's at. At that point, local law enforcement responded to the school. The suspect made entry into the school, and as soon as he made entry into the school, he started shooting children, teachers, whoever was in his way. He was shooting everybody. We had, of course, as I mentioned, brave law enforcement made entry into that school, exchanged gunfire with a suspect who was wearing body armor. Several police officers were shot. At that point, we did have a tactical law enforcement team arrive on scene. They made entry. They were also met with gunfire by the suspect, but they were actually able to shoot the suspect, and now the suspect is deceased. As of right now, we do have 18 children confirmed that are deceased, as well as 2 adults, one of those being a teacher from the school.
And we've also heard word that Border Patrol agent was struck with gunfire, a few officers shot. We've heard that some law enforcement officers actually went into school to get their kids out. Can you talk about that?
Right, so what we do know, Vanessa, right now that there was some police officers, families trying to get their children out of the school because it was an active shooter situation right now. It's a terrible situation right now. And of course, just as we mentioned, the loss of life, it's just
So
terrible.
did those officers that want to get these kids out of school, did they engage the shooter?
That actually were there on scene that met this suspect, and of course we know that they were met with gunfire. Some of them were shot, but at the end of this, the suspect was shot and is now deceased. The threat is now neutralized.
And we're hearing his home was less than a mile away from here. Did you find any other guns, any other ammunition? We've heard maybe a backpack in the school or at his home.
So what we do know right now, Vanessa, is that the suspect was armed with a long rifle. We are working with ATF, FBI, multiple law enforcement agencies here on scene, trying to determine what kind of weapon this individual had, how he obtained it, and also what the motives were, if any, behind this mass shooting.
And we've seen parents out here the last few hours wondering where their children are. Have you been able to notify all the parents?
We have local law enforcement out working with the families, contacting the families as well. Also those that have lost children. We do have some type of victim services involved as well to try to meet with these families and comfort them in this time of need right now. So I think we're now as a community that we need to acknowledge this and have prayers for these families, these victims that are lost right now.
Where does the investigation go now?
So it's still an active investigation. We have multiple agencies. Texas Rangers right now are the lead investigators for this shooting, as well as working with FBI, ATF as well. So it's a multiple agency investigation right now. And we will provide updates as we receive them.
All right. Thank you, Lieutenant. We appreciate your time today. And there you have an update. 18 children died in this shooting today, including one teacher out here at Robb Elementary. We'll have more updates later on in the show. Deborah, back to you.
Okay. Thank you, Vanessa. And then we know of the teacher and 2 other adults who were killed in addition to the 18 children.
Yeah, you already know that. They're going to go after body armor. I said that in my stream on Sunday. Was it Sunday, Jay, when we talked last week? Was it last Sunday? We went live. But yeah, they're coming after body armor. They're definitely going to come after body armor. You know, I got body armor. I got soft armor that I keep in my truck because I'm in Baltimore. And also I got plates. I got a plate carrier. Level 3 set up. You know. But yeah, they're going to try to ban it. Right now, it's not illegal. Law-abiding citizens can use it. Law-abiding citizens can use it. You know, but this shit is sad, man.
A true hero, true hero, running into gunfire like that and saving lives.
And right now we are still waiting on President Biden.
My man P-Dog Knight in the building. Yeah, this shit crazy, bro. Salute to you too. But so Biden's supposed to speak soon. I'm sure it's gonna be the same song and dance that he always gives us. You know what I mean?
Whether it was in the classroom, whether it was in the gym, we do know a 10-year-old girl was killed. Another 10-year-old girl is in critical.
So this is what I'm gonna do, y'all. I gotta go take a quick bathroom break. I'm gonna turn this up a little bit so y'all can hear it. And I will be right back.
Went and broke a window and was pulling out 4th graders out of one of the rooms. So I don't know if the gunman was in that area or someplace else.
But it's amazing, you know, all these law enforcement officers who live in that community, and I'm sure it's hitting close to home. And when they hear that over the scanners, or they get those reports, they were like, you know, let me jump into action. This is what we're trained for, and how great that is that they were able to pull some of those kids to safety.
Yes.
All right, and we lost our look right now at Robb Elementary School, but there are some different memorial services going on. Sacred Heart Catholic Church is having one right now, and we want to go to Matt Houston, who is there at that service.
I got a hop on. Audrey, still an active investigation. You just heard the update there from DPS about sort of the way these events unfolded today. We know that the shooter had a long rifle and was quickly taken down, but unfortunately was able to get into the school that you see behind me and take, now we know, 20 lives, and including one life from earlier today. So obviously a rather massive death toll in a tragic situation that just gradually gets worse and worse the more we about it. As we mentioned, the investigation's still ongoing. We know that they're looking for anything around the area. It appears the shooter was only a couple of blocks away, lived only a couple of blocks away, and so we don't know a whole lot about motive at this point. We don't know exactly how these events unfolded, aside from the fact that he was able to get into the school and open fire, and that's unfortunately the headline here in Uvalde, Texas. Obviously tragic news, and that death toll gets a little bit higher. You can kind of see some behind me here at Robb Elementary. There are a number of officers, law enforcement, walking around a little bit, just sort of taking the lay of the land at the moment. I'm going to step out of the shot and give you a look right now at Robb Elementary. You can see the welcome sign there at the front. It looks like some folks in suits walking around trying to do more of the same and just take in what they can see at the moment, get a better understanding for the sense here, as well as the lay of the land and the events in what sequence they happened earlier today. We brought you lots of updates on this one. We, of course, kept you up to speed about the patients in San Antonio being treated there. And we're working to learn more about the condition of the other people who were taken to the hospital as we speak right now. We're going to keep you posted. Of course, we are waiting for more comments from the president as reaction pours in from lawmakers across the United States, of course, including the state of Texas and some of our local officials as well. But all eyes are going to be on the White House tonight to see what President Joe Biden has to say about this. For now, we'll send it back to you guys at the desk.
Matt, earlier, about an hour ago, we saw San Antonio Fire Chief Charles Hood go into the school with what appeared to be some parents. Have you seen any families going into the school? Have you seen anyone coming out?
Not at this point right now, Deb, and we just got here about 15 minutes ago. But right now, everyone sort of seems to be gathered around the perimeter of the building. We have asked to speak with Chief Hood. We are sort of waiting on trying to understand what his schedule is going to be like. And
appreciate y'all
at the moment. But no, Deb, everybody seems to be outside the building at the moment, including some of the law enforcement officials who you might be able to see walking behind me at the moment, all sort of gathered talking to each other. There's not a dramatic sense of urgency at the moment.
We've been watching our affiliate, KENS 5, covering the latest on the Texas shooting in Uvalde. We are awaiting an address by President Biden this hour. In the meantime, I am joined now by Reuters White House correspondent Jeff Mason. Jeff, how can we expect the president to address this tragedy tonight?
Well, it's one of the probably hardest things you do as a president in terms of remarks at a time of national mourning. I expect that the president will.
That they're talking to you.
Hold on, Hunter. So look, guys. This is one of my kids, right? This is Hunter. You say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
So, tell everybody how old you are.
8.
You don't gotta yell into the mic, man. Just talk normal.
8.
So this is one of my kids that I have to make sure I protect, man. You see him? I don't want nothing to happen to this boy. And his sister upstairs that just spent a bunch of money on a little school dance she got going on. You know, so protect your kids, man. You gotta protect these babies out here. All right, say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.
All right, go out upstairs. He wanted to say hi. So I'm using OBS. I'm just using the basic OBS with I got a Rodecaster, and that's it. OBS with a Rodecaster. That's all I'm using. And I got an expensive ass gaming PC that I use for streaming. That's what I'm using. Yeah, he wants to start a little Twitch up. He think he the best Madden football player out there. Yeah, he got a deep voice, y'all. It's crazy. Nothing really, Olivia. I don't think he's gonna say anything. He's gonna be the same old song and dance that he always says.
That's where we're at in the politics of this.
It's gonna be the same old song and dance that he always say. Period. Period. He's gonna say that we gotta ban assault rifles and 30 round capacity magazines, and people going to be sitting at the dinner table without a loved one there and all this other, the same song and dance that he always comes out with around this time. What's going to happen? I don't know what it is. We'll see. But this is coming. He got his ATF what's it called, executive orders that's supposed to start in June, but we also have National Pistol and Rifle Association versus Bruin coming up. Their decision is supposed to come down next month. And it's just we just happen to having all these issues. That's Kofi on tight right now. Like my man Robert Banks said, and like I was saying, every time we got an election year and all this other shit, all this stuff happened, man.
It's a great
He gonna call it the AFT again, right? But that's what they want. That's what they want. Period. My question is when they got to go on soon, because you already know, he can't hang. They got to wake him up just to do this. They probably trying to prep him now, trying to get his ass up out the bed.
We'll be commenting
You know what I
on
mean?
it extensively in the coming days. That will lead to more pressure from both sides.
And this is what they do, yo. You use kids. You know what I mean? This shit is sad. This shit is fucking sad. No matter how you look at it, whether this shit is an op or not, this shit is fucking sad. They took 18 babies, man. 18 babies. 18 babies. Taken away from here. Taken away from here. It's sad. It's really fucking sad. And my condolences, like I said, go out to the family members and the victims. I really, really hope the family finds peace and understanding. I hope they find, but like nobody wants to get that call. Nobody wants to get that call.
And then, as with lots of things,
that your baby been taken away from here.
Something else ends up
5 years on this earth, 6 years on this earth, 8 years on this earth, 10 years on this earth, 9 years on this earth, gone because of some crazy sumbitch, some evil bastard took your kid from you.
The horrendous, awful shooting of children hits people even harder emotionally. And that, as a result,
the political right, like he's saying, political right, they're gonna grift off this shit. The political left are gonna grift off this shit. They're gonna have their talking points on both sides of the aisle. Thing about it is that the right, they're not gonna want to be called baby killers and racists and all this other shit. So it's a chance that they might fucking cave. It's a chance they might fucking cave. This is an election year, so could you imagine these 18 kids, these 18 babies taken away? Let's just say the Republicans, they stand their ground and they go, no, we're not doing that. We're not fucking canceling the Second Amendment, right? Then imagine what the left is going to label them in an election year, right? They gonna want to try to secure their fucking jobs, especially them rhinos. And honestly, we got a lot more rhinos in the House and the Senate than we ever did. It's gonna be real interesting to see how this plays out. Real interesting to see how this plays out. It's gonna be real interesting, people.
Any sort of incremental movement that
real interesting. Let's see what they talking about on Twitter.
And in this case, the background checks would be an example of that. It just gets a lot of opposition.
Let's see what they talking about on Twitter.
That's not how most Americans think about these issues.
Exactly, and it's tied up with money. The NRA and gun interests have a lot of influence in politics because of the money that.
Here we go. Look at this. Shannon Watts. Pro tip: Jesus would want you to use your power as a lawmaker to stop gun violence in Uvalde instead of quoting Bible verses while taking money from the NRA. Here we go. Here we go. Look at this. Already.
Activists will be very vocal in the coming days, and not because they want to
Here we go again. Same woman. School shootings are not acts of nature like hurricanes and tornadoes. They're man-made acts of inaction, of cowardice, of corruption by lawmakers who refuse to pass laws proven by data to stop preventable senseless shootings. She's lying her ass off in that tweet.
I don't have an answer for you as to why an issue like background checks, for example, which the American public broadly supports, has such a hard time getting passed in Congress.
The reason why it's having a hard time getting passed in Congress is because they want universal background checks. Universal background checks is just a fucking gun confiscation list, period. That's what it is. It's a gun confiscation list. That's all the universal background check is. We already got a federal background check. It's called the NICS form. That's what we got already. We got it. Use what you got. It works. See, the thing is, they want these universal background checks. So when they get their universal background check and then the shit don't work and then shootings still happen, then they can go, okay, that didn't work. So now we got to go get all the guns. Now they know where they need to come to go get them. That's how that shit works. That's what they want. They're going to tug on the heartstrings. They're going to keep showing these pictures of these children. They're going to show you pictures of crime mothers and fathers. They're going to keep showing that shit to tug on the heartstrings of Americans to vote and to ask for some shit that's going to be to their detriment in the long run. That's what's going to happen.
This is a time when people turn to the President of the United States.
Here we go. Michael Savvy. Uvalde is a good reminder that U.S. Decided after Sandy Hook that children getting killed at school is part of limited America, and we're going to do absolutely nothing to stop it. Here you go again. Look at this. We see it already.
And he'll be the first to say that, but he does have experience with grief. And so I think he'll work.
What's this? Carmine Sabia? Okay, the Uvalde shooter was confirmed as 18-year-old Salvador Ramos. CNN withholding the name after disgustingly Jake Tapper and Juliet Kayyem, I don't know who the fuck who she is, immediately assumed it was a white supremacist because everyone politicized it immediately.
Tonight, he will certainly be under pressure from the progressive part of his party, and not just progressive. Moderates are.
Chad Prather says, heartbroken to say the least. Such a tragedy today.
Too, so he may need to nod to that, if not tonight, then in the coming days. But in large part, I'm listening for the tone and for him sort of setting a way forward on how to deal with this. And also, you know, the President of the United States and the White House. I
hear that from the quartering. I'm sitting outside the Uvalde story. I just can't take the same old political posturing and rhetoric. I can't imagine what the parents are feeling right now, and I'm going to respect that by not spending the night playing the blame game on Twitter. I hear him.
Important point that echoes what we heard from Senator Murphy about about the mental health problems.
Here we go.
That we have
mental health
are not unique to the United States, but our casualty numbers are much higher. You mentioned, Jeff, that and anybody who's tuning in right now, we're awaiting President Biden as he's set to address the nation from the White House following at least 18 children we understand have been killed in this school shooting.
They're going to push this mental health thing. They're going to push it hard, you know. But that's an interesting. I forgot who said it. I think it was it might have been Super Carl. I can't remember. But what if those vacations, what if that round trip is causing chemical imbalances in some certain kids and causing them to do some shit like this? You know what I mean? That'd be interesting. That's interesting. You know, might be far fetched, but you know, that could be interesting. That's an interesting take. Very interesting take. However, I feel like you already had to have that shit up in you to do it. You had to have that shit up in you to do it. Simple as that.
My coverage earlier is I was on his trip there when he gave that very emotional speech, and I'll never forget it.
Here you go, right here. Like this is essentially what this is. This is Sandy, you know what 2.0.
It was heartbreaking to be.
Is what this is. My question is, that gun's expensive. I don't know what the brand is of the second one he had, but that gun's expensive. 2, why you need 2 of them? Why you need 2 rifles? Just like the Buffalo guy had the shotgun, the rifle, and the hunting rifle. Shotgun, the AR, and the hunting rifle. Wow, I mean, to me, it sounded like you need it for optics. That's what it sounded like to me. You need it for optics. You know, it hits harder. You know, that's just what it is in my opinion. It hits harder. You know, I'm just, you know, speculating. Man, shit is fucking sad. So we're waiting on President Biden to old Joe Nichols Slick to address the people. Handy Bob says the mental health issue because we don't want to teach our kids how to deal with that adversity. Facts. Everybody just wants to put their kids on medication, stick them in the corner. That's 100%. You know what I mean? That's facts, even that everyone can be diagnosed with a mental health. It's a broad fucking spectrum. Here we go. Hey, yo, one of my mods. So somebody in here got Little Cannon asking. Go ahead and time them out because I don't know who the fuck that is, and I'm sure that's a bot or something like that. Go ahead and get them out of here, please.
18 children and 1 adult were killed, according to the Texas Department of Public Safety. Another community that will forever mark time as before today and
So look, like Biden about to start coming up soon.
The 18-year-old shooter is also dead. Flags in the nation's capital are at half-staff. And once again, President Biden will mine his personal experience with grief on behalf of the nation. The president just returned from his first trip to Asia, a trip that started not long after President Biden addressed the last mass shooting in Buffalo, playing the role of consoler-in-chief twice in less than 2 weeks. Today's shooting is the 212th mass shooting this year in stores, houses of worship, subways, and schools. And there have only been 144 days so far in 2022. Nicole Killian is at the White House. Nicole, the president has been on the phone apparently with the governor of Texas.
Yeah, that's right, John. The White House says President Biden.
There we go. So like Biden about to start speaking real soon. So this could be, I mean, it's like I said, it's probably gonna be more of the same shit. You know what I mean? It's probably gonna be more of the same. You know what I mean? It's gonna get ridiculous.
And President and Dr. Biden have just entered the Roosevelt Room of the White House. Let's listen in.
Good evening, fellow Americans. I had hoped when I became president I would not have to do this again. Another massacre, Uvalde, Texas, an elementary school. Beautiful, innocent, second, third, fourth graders. And how many scores of little children who witnessed what happened see their friends die as if they're on a battlefield, for God's sake. They'll live with it the rest of their lives. There's a lot we don't know yet. There's a lot we do know. The parents who will never see their child again, never have them jump in bed and cuddle with them. Parents who will never be the same. To lose a child.
So heads up, if you want to make a comment in my chat, you got to be a subscriber for at least 10 minutes.
There's a hollowness in your chest. You feel like you're being sucked into it. and never going to be able to get out, suffocating. And it's never quite the same. It's a feeling shared by the siblings and the grandparents and the family members and the community that's left behind. Scripture says, Jill and I have talked about this in different contexts, in other contexts. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. So many crushed spirits. So tonight, I ask the nation to pray for them. Give the parents and siblings the strength in the darkness they feel right now. As a nation, we have to ask, when in God's name are we going to stand up to the gun lobby?
Here we go.
When in God's name we do what we all know in our gut needs to be done? It's been 3,448 days, 10 years since I stood up at a high school in Connecticut, a grade school in Connecticut, where another gunman massacred 26 people, including 20 first graders at Sandy Hook Elementary School. Since then, there have been over 900 incidents of gunfires reported on school grounds. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida.
Here we go.
Santa Fe High School in Texas. Oxford High School in Michigan. The list goes on, and the list grows when it includes mass shootings at places like movie theaters, houses of worship, as we saw just 10 days ago at a grocery store in Buffalo, New York. I am sick and tired of it. We have to act. And don't tell me we can't have an impact on this carnage.
You can see him looking back at his teleprompter.
Vice President.
Look at him.
Working to pass common sense gun laws. We can't and won't prevent every
You can see him pausing to read his
But we know they
teleprompter.
work
None of this shit is
and
from
have
the top of the
positive impact. When
dome.
we passed the assault weapons ban, mass shootings went down. When the law expired, mass shootings tripled. The idea that an 18-year-old kid can walk into a gun store and buy 2 assault weapons is just wrong.
Here we go.
What in God's name do you need an assault weapon for except to kill someone?
Here you go.
Deer aren't running through the forest with Kevlar vests on, for God's sake.
Here we go. This is other joke.
It's just sick. And the gun manufacturers have spent 2 decades aggressively marketing assault weapons, which make them the most and largest profit. For God's sake, we have to have the courage to stand up to the industry. Here's what else I know. Most Americans support common sense laws, common sense gun laws.
Here we go.
I just got off a trip from Asia, meeting with Asian leaders. And I learned of this while I was on the aircraft. And what struck me on that 17-hour flight, what struck me was these kinds of mass shootings rarely happen anywhere else in the world. Why? They have mental health problems. They have domestic disputes in other countries. They have people who are lost. But these kinds of mass shootings never happen with the kind of frequency they happen in America. Why? Why are we willing to live with this carnage? Why do we keep letting this happen? Where in God's name is our backbone to have the courage to deal with it and stand up to the lobbies?
Here you go, going with the lobbies.
It's time to turn this pain into action.
Here we go.
For every parent, for every citizen in this country, we have to make it clear to every elected official in this country, it's time to act.
Here we go. Waste no time politicizing this shit.
It's time for those who obstruct or delay or block the common sense gun laws. We need to let you know that we will not forget. We can do so much more. We have to do more. Our prayer tonight is those parents lying in bed and trying to figure out Will
I don't know,
be able to sleep
Olivia.
again?
I don't know. I'm sure they
What
did.
do I say to my other children? What happens tomorrow? May God bless the loss of innocent life on this sad day. And may the Lord be near the brokenhearted and save those crushed in spirit, because they're going to need a lot of help and a lot of our prayers. God love you.
You already know, P-Dog. You're 100% straight up.
President Biden speaking from the Roosevelt Room, where his first audible noise was a deep sigh before
Shut up.
talking about how the parents of
His first audible noise was a deep sigh. They gonna play this shit up, y'all. They gonna play this all up. What up, Portia Anderson? You late? Yeah. I mean, yeah, you know, you gotta respect the prayer. You know what I mean? You got to. Even if it's insincere. You know what I mean? Handy Bob said at 18, the government taught him how to run everything from an M9 through heavy machine guns and high explosives. This asshat can pound sand, lying piece of shit. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, the reporters, that's mainstream media for you, though. You already know that, Jay. It's mainstream media for you. They on his side, right? Remember what we read. That 2020 situation was a concerted effort to get Donnie T out of office and install Joe Biden. And we know that because they told us that. We know that because they told us that. Exactly. Buzzwords, lobbyists. You know, it's just assault weapons. You know what I mean? Anything can be an assault weapon. I said this before. I could crack you over the head with a broomstick. And now that fucking broomstick is that assault weapon that my assault weapon. That's what it is. I can hit you in the head with this mason jar. And that's an assault weapon. It's just a buzzword. It's just a buzzword. It is just a buzzword, period. Full stop. Period, full stop. That's just what it is. They're going to come for it. He knows that he has the executive orders, right? See, the executive orders, they can get fought in the Supreme Court. They can get fought in court, which they will get fought in court. They already got lawsuits out for these executive orders. He's trying to do with the P80s and the braces, the pistol braces. Right? So he got that stuff coming down the pipe. Now he wants to pass another quote unquote assault weapons ban, right? He wants to, another quote unquote assault weapons ban. It's just what they want. They want that. They don't want you to be able to, match the military as far as, one-on-one. You know what I mean? Yeah, the military, their guns got the third switch or whatever. It's okay. But guess what? The AR, the Chris Vectors, the Scars, the Rattlers, the Saints, you know what I mean? Those things give us a fighting chance should we had to. Look at fucking Ukraine. Look at the Ukraine. The Ukraine had to distribute guns out to their citizens just to fight. The U.S. don't got to do that. Like I said, there's more guns in this country than it is people. You'll never get your hands on all of it. And bad guys, they want to do bad things. And if they want to do bad things, they're going to do that shit regardless of any law that's on the books. These laws are only for law-abiding citizens. If they decide to do a gun confiscation, it's only the law-abiding citizens that's going to comply with that. That's it. That's it. Just making you soft targets. Chicago, strict gun laws. Look at Chicago. Baltimore, strict gun laws. Look at Baltimore. New York, strict gun laws. Look at New York. LA, California, strict gun laws. Look at places like Compton and shit like that. Somebody tell me where these gun laws help. Where these gun control help. Because last I checked, you can't have a AR, a normal AR in Cali. You can't have a normal AR in New York. You can't have a normal AR if you can't have an AR at all in Chicago. But these motherfuckers got Dracos and all sorts of shit. Because they don't give a shit about the gun laws. They don't give a shit about any of that. They're going to do what they got to do to survive. Just imagine if shit go to shit, right? Let's just say we got another pandemonium and we're locked in and food is scarce like it's happening now and gas is high like it's happening now. And you got places like Texas where they having rolling blackouts because 6 fucking power plants are down. And resources is low, right? Take a place like fucking Chicago, Baltimore, New York. And people start turning into marauders and they take to the streets and they start robbing their neighbors. But because of these crazy fucked up gun laws in these cities, neighbors can't defend themselves. So now all of the neighbors' food and water and resources belong to the marauders. All because you can't defend yourself. All because the government took your right to self-preservation, your right to self-defense away from you in the name of security. Trust in the government. Trust the police who won't make it in time. Somebody break into your house. A home invasion. Carjacking. Trust the police who didn't make it in time to this school. Trust the police who didn't make it in time to this school. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't the fucking shopping, the grocery store in Buffalo, wasn't that across the street from the police station? It was across the street from the police station, if I'm not mistaken. And 10 people still got. Or 13. See, when seconds count, the police are minutes away. Y'all heard that before. Shooters like this are cowards. They know where to attack. They know there's nothing going. You don't think he didn't know that there was nobody that was going to be able to contest him at that school? Fuck that. After seeing shit like this, I wouldn't be shocked if teachers out here started strapping up regardless of what the school said. I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be upset either. Shit is crazy, people. 18 babies gone because of some senseless act. See, the thing is, they don't want you to understand this. They'll tell you that teachers being armed is fucking ridiculous. Teachers being armed is fucking ridiculous, right? Why do teachers are there to teach. Teachers are there to teach, right? Teachers are there to teach. Not carry guns, not be police officers and all this other shit, right? But it's a viable solution. Teachers that want to teach, you get them. Teachers that want to carry. I mean, clearly you take them through a background check. Shit like that. Get them a CCW that they can only use at school. Put them through a 12-week course during the summertime. Or 9 weeks or whatever, however long summer is. Take them through fighting rifle, fighting pistol, pistol 101, rifle 101. Active shooter scenarios. Get them ready for the school year. Why not? Okay, you don't want the teachers to carry guns? Okay, that's cool. Let the administrators carry. Let the vice principal and the principal carry. Guidance counselors. If they want to do it. Pretty sure there's a lot of gym teachers out there that wouldn't mind strapping up. You don't want to do that? Okay. Require school resource officers at every school regardless of where they are. Those school resource officers could be returning veterans. Why not? These are solutions. These are viable solutions that could work. See, evil exists, period. You'll never legislate evil away. It's always going to be here. It's in the nature of humans. So why not let people equip themselves with the best tools to eradicate that evil should they have to? And hey, I'm not saying that you having a gun guarantees you're going to go home, but it'll give you a fucking hell of a chance. It'll give a hell of a fighting chance. Everybody always saying, I don't got them up today because when I came in here, I immediately started getting my stream together. I didn't even put up my beautiful tapestry that I usually have behind me. If you knew, you don't know, but my crowd, they know what's usually back there. But if you knew, go ahead and subscribe. I appreciate it. Like, yo, Cannon, why you need all them guns, yo? I say, why not? Do I need them? Nah, I don't need half the ones. I don't need a third of the guns I got. But I want them. And understand I know how to use them if I got to. You know why? Because my biggest fear is what you're seeing now. My biggest fear is coming home and my family stretched out. I don't want that. And not only teaching you, and this goes back to me saying, teaching your kids scenarios, right? Teaching your kids scenarios. Teaching your kids, but talking to your kids about shit like this or what's happening with this school, right? You want, go through drills with them. Go through active shooter drills with your kids. Tell them, go over a game plan with your kids. Go over a game plan with your kids. Should some shit like this happen? Have that real conversation with your children should shit like this happen. Also, teach your kids about firearms. Teach your kids firearm safety. Teach your kids how to shoot. Get them acclimated with guns. Teach them to respect firearms. And like I said, we're living in some fucked up times, man. Like I said, you can go over to like AR 500, or you can go to Safe Life Defense. They got backpacks. They got soft body armor for backpacks for your children, or for you if you're on a subway, or your kids in school or whatever. If you're right in the back of the book bag, don't take up no real space. Kid can use that for cover. You know, they sell plates for book bags. Want to give your kid that extra added protection? Give yourself that extra added protection. But they don't want any real solutions. They don't want any real solutions to this quote unquote shooting epidemic. They don't want those solutions. The solutions I gave, they'll tell you it's crazy. They'll tell you it's crazy. Is it though? Are they really? I feel like they're viable solutions. Nothing a criminal love more than a no-gun zone. They ain't got no opposition. They ain't got no opposition. Remember that, people. Ain't nothing a criminal love more than a no-gun zone. A gun-free zone. That's where they always attack. You know what I mean? That's why you see in liberal cities, right, in democratic strongholds, they'll attack some shit out in public like a fucking grocery store or a Subway, right? Because everywhere you go is a no-gun zone. Everywhere you go in a liberal stronghold or a democratic city is a no-gun zone for the most part, right? But in like a state like Texas or Arizona, they got to go to the gun-free zones because you can carry guns everywhere else, but what? A school, I think in some cases a courthouse and some other places. So you attack those gun-free zones. You ever notice that? Vegas. You can carry in Vegas. I carry in Vegas when I go to Vegas. But that concert was a gun-free zone. They had to attack that gun-free zone. Nobody else was going to be shooting back. Florida. You can carry a gun in Florida. But you have Parkland. You can't carry in New York. That's a May issue state. Subway. Public places like a Subway where you should be able to carry. Grocery store. Because everywhere is a gun-free zone. For the most part. They ain't gonna go to the hood though. They might get fired back on. They always pick a suburban place when they go to these democratic cities and strongholds. They also don't go to these democratic cities and strongholds for the most part in the cities because we're already doing the job for them. We're already doing the job for them. Shit is sad. Shit is really sad. New Zealand. You know, shit like this make me sick, y'all. You got something tragic like this happening, but instead of increasing people's odds by allowing them to carry the tool that they feel like would protect them the most and give them a better chance of going home, they want to take it from you. They want to take it out of your hands. They want to limit your ammo. You know what I mean? Maryland. It won't sell you nothing over 10 rounds. I mean, it won't sell you a magazine that can hold over 10 rounds, but all these niggas run around here with these sticks, with these 33 round magazines and they shit, with guns they ain't supposed to have. Meanwhile, I got to go fill out a fucking paperwork and wait 8 days to pick up my handgun. Excuse me. I agree. If they get a CCW, they should be able to defend themselves on and off campus. It'd be better to be, it'd be better to be used to it. You're right. I agree with that. You're right. It'd be tax money well spent. I mean, I get it, Portia, but like I said, I got kids, man, and it's like, you know, I would want that teacher to be strapped up if some shit like that came to my kid's school. You know what I mean? J. Powell on solutions over symbolism. We need the people to be able to defend themselves. That's facts. Or find someone who can and will teach them. That's true. Barsh Next Manhunter, what's the deal, bro? I ain't heard from you in a minute. They don't want y'all to be able to defend yourselves. It's why it's going on to have an excuse to take y'all rights away. Real question is, where were these school shootings at before? Yeah. For in the MK Ultra. J. Paul, on 2/3 of the earth is covered in guns. The other half in crayon and cannons cash. Stay strapped and be safe. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, Portia. Yeah, they sold soft armor for kids. They actually sold plates too for kids as well. You know. Yeah, Maggie, they're already on the attack for the First and the Second Amendment. We see that day in, day out. You know, they got my man P-Dog Knight. They tried to get my man P-Dog Knight out the paint. They tried to get my man P-Dog Knight out of the paint. I'm happy he survived that. You know, as far as them trying to terminate his YouTube. Shit was crazy. But that's what they want, y'all. They fucking seen this shit coming. They was like, start rubbing them hands. Like, oh shit, here we go. Let's get ready. But full 10 full kufi on. You got a kid with a Daniel Defense rifle with a $600 EOTech. That is a $3,000 gun setup by itself. Where you get that from? Two guns. I don't know if the other one was a Daniel Defense. The other one might have been who knows what the other one was. Optics, expensive gun. A lot of government people carry that gun. Just saying. You know. We all heard of the gang stalking shit. That shit true because you got it was a mother and a father who sued the FBI or the Franklin Beverly Institute. They sued the Franklin Beverly Institute because they were sending their autistic son emails trying to radicalize him, and they caught him. And they sued the FBI for that, trying to get their son to do some shit that he didn't want to do. Remember the dude that was in remember that shit that happened down in Florida at the airport? That dude turned himself into the Anchorage police. Said, yo, I need help. There's voices in my head telling me to do shit. I'm not crazy. There are people in my head telling me to do shit, and I don't want to do it. The Anchorage police evaluated him, gave him his gun back, sent him back to his military barracks. It's in the military. He hops on a plane to Florida. Everybody's like, why'd he go to Florida? He was Puerto Rican. He might have messed around and trying to go back to Puerto Rico. Who knows, right? Anyway, he's in Florida, gets his gun. Now, when I looked at the footage, it looked like he saw somebody he knew and he started firing. However, he started firing in the airport. After he said, hey, help me, people are telling me to do some shit in my head. I'm not crazy. And I don't want to do it. He turned himself into the FBI. He turned himself into the FBI, and the FBI sent him to the Anchorage police. So let's not pretend that the government ain't beyond letting some shit happen or trying to facilitate some shit from happening. Please let's not pretend that, because you got people that love to believe that official narrative. Full 10 full kufi on. This is a Treadstone event. My man, Manhunt, that's my man. He's talking about we gotta invent like a turtle shell book bag or something. Hit me up. I got mad inventions. Plus, you live near me. I'm down if you are. I hear you, bro. We might hit the range one day, me and you, yo. Matter of fact, shit. Hey, August 13th, that weekend, it's Hotep weekend, Hotep convention. We're going to be in Las Vegas at the Ahern Hotel. It's going to be a fucking fantastic time. Go to hotepnation.com. Get your tickets. Come hang out with us. Go to the range with me. We're going to have some fun. Last year was fantastic. We're going to have another wonderful time. Like I said, hotepnation.com. Go get your tickets. You already know, Pop. They definitely do. Exactly. Exactly, Suge White. Yep. Let's not pretend that like this shit ain't a thing. Let's not pretend that the Montauk projects didn't exist. Billy Clinton apologized for MK Ultra. He said it was a thing. Manchurian candidates. Please don't think that they stopped this shit. Please don't think that they really did stop doing shit like that. It's just off the books now. Just like this the disinformation council, whatever they was fucking trying to do through Homeland Security. Please don't think that they stopped that shit. Yeah, they might have stopped it in the public. They might have told y'all that shit, but that shit's still happening. That shit's still happening. Best believe that shit is still happening. So I want y'all to understand that. Anyway, my prayers, my thoughts go to the victims and the families of the victims, man. You know, I can't imagine what they're going through right now. I hope I never have to go through nothing like that. Yeah, you better book. I'm booking this week too. Got to, yo. Anyway, I appreciate you guys rolling with me. If you're new, hit that like, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon. Please share this stream. If you're here on a replay, leave a comment. Let me know how I'm doing. I appreciate some nice constructive criticism. But share this out. Please leave a comment. Like this video. Like this stream. Let's get these likes up. I've been being shadow banned from YouTube for too long. Anyway, it's Canon Hotep saying, stay safe, stay well, stay strapped. Protect your babies, man. I'll holler at you.